Welcome back. YCN Sports Talk. Jeremy Stout, Dave Collins, one final segment here. And Dave, I mentioned a local team losing, Dartmouth Big Green, going on the road to the Yale Bowl, the 100th meeting of Dartmouth and Yale getting the better of this Big Green team.
Yeah, Yale beat Dartmouth last weekend 21-13. Dartmouth now with 2 Ivy League losses. It's a shame they can't make the playoffs. Is it a lost season? I don't think so, but Dartmouth hosting Towson this week. Towson with a record of 1-4 overall. They're 0-3. They're in the same conference as UNH, and they've given up the second most points in the conference. URI leads it by giving up 228 points. Towson's given up 128 points this season. So if Dartmouth can get the offensive going, they can bounce back. Unfortunately, it's not an Ivy League game. It's their last non-conference game. And with 2 losses, last year, quirky things happened towards the end of the season where there were a couple teams with 2 different losses in the Ivy League. But right now, if you're Buddy Stevens, you just got to get these guys focused to win this non-conference game and see who you can knock off coming down the stretch.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, coming down the stretch, they will have Harvard again, and they will have Harvard, and they could beat them again this year, give them 1 loss. You never know what can happen between Harvard and Penn. Somebody loses. An upset may happen. Columbia, Cornell. That's why they play the games. Yeah, they have a very, very outside shot and a very slim chance of winning the Ivy League. But things can happen. Things can change. But how do you keep this team motivated? Is it one of those things where you say, hey, let's beat Harvard. Let's make that our game of the year, our Super Bowl, whatever. How do we want to finish our Ivy League season? Seniors, you can't win maybe. But how do you want to finish your Ivy League careers?
Well, they beat UNH, so that's a good thing to start. And I think the momentum was building and fans started paying attention a little bit more to Dartmouth. I don't want to see it where fans lose interest right now. This Towson game, it's a non-conference game, but it also could put you back on a winning streak. You want to finish the season strong. And people know when they go to an Ivy League school to play football, you're not going to be playing in December. You're not going to be playing in a bowl game in January. Make the best of it right now. You knocked off one very decent opponent in UNH, which you haven't been able to beat in a very long time. That's your NFC or AFC championship. Okay, the Super Bowl might end up being Harvard with that last game of the season against Princeton.
And they can come back home, win this week, show the home crowd a good game. And they'll have more Ivy League games at home. So it's one of those things where, it looks dismal on the outside, and it is. But as you mentioned, these guys know what they're getting into. They don't expect, we'll have a bowl game in December or January. They know our season could be over in the first 3 or 4 weeks.
And also, Jeremy, remember this. Buddy Stevens has been there for a very long time in his second stint. We're not too far removed from when that team went 0-10. And had I believe it was a 16 or 17 game losing streak going into the next season as well. So a lot of progress has been made up in Hanover. Just fluke things happen, and you got to make the best of the rest of the season.
Right, anything can happen this week. Now for our YCN picks of the week, and let's hope we're a little better than last week. First one, you are still ahead. Bengals at Patriots. I'm taking the Patriots. No, I'm not going to question that one.
If this game was in Cincinnati, I'd give the Bengals a fighting chance, but since Tom Brady's going to be at home in Foxborough, I think he's just going to roll again.
All right, let's hope that happens. 49ers and Bills, another AFC East game that we'll be watching. Do the 49ers have a chance? I say no. Bills win this easily.
Unless Colin Kaepernick can pull something out of his hat, I think the Bills win. I think Rex Ryan jumps up on his soapbox once again. I think more will be made of how Colin Kaepernick performs in this game rather than if the Bills win, even though they're going to be right on the heels of the Patriots. So I'm gonna pick the Bills.
Okay, Ravens at the Giants. We go to the NFC. The Giants played the Packers tough on Monday night, didn't come away with the win. They come back home. I'm going to go with the Ravens on the road just because the Giants haven't shown me enough.
Yeah.
Ravens on the road.
This is a must-win for the Giants. I was listening to New York Sports Talk the past couple of days, and, we talked about it before that Eli Manning really hasn't had that bad injury that's kept him out for a while. He's taken some dings and some bang-ups here, but the offensive line just isn't there for Eli, not only giving him passing protection, but also for the running game as well. Giants need to turn it around, and this is a must-win for the Giants at home this week against the Ravens at 1 o'clock.
All right, Colts and Texans, the Sunday night football game. I'm going to go with the Texans. They're at home. Colts defense can't really stop anyone.
Well, like I said to you off the air, I hope that there's a baseball game that's on Sunday night because these two teams in the AFC South, I don't think you can get much worse than this. Andrew Luck just hasn't had protection, it seems, for the past year and a half or 2 years.
Yeah.
And the Texans rather have sort of fallen off the face of the earth and don't really have anybody that can. There's no big names that jump out at you that have had big games this season. I'm going to take the Colts to win this game.
All right, and then quickly the last pick, Monday Night Football. Your Jets.
This is not quickly. This
and the Cardinals.
This lasts each week when the Jets lose. How many more interceptions are we going to let Ryan Fitzpatrick throw before we replace him at quarterback? I would love to have the situation that the Patriots win. You just throw anybody in there. Garoppolo, Brissett,
So
Brady.
needless to say, you're taking the Cardinals?
I have to, because this game's in Arizona. I think Carson Palmer's going to have a big game. The secondary for the Jets is all banged up. They can't cover even a tight end. And the Jets, I looked at the stat last week. I think the Jets have one tight end that has had a touchdown pass in the past 15 or 16 games. There's no weapons for Fitzpatrick to throw to, and now Decker's on injured reserve for the Jets.
Yeah,
definitely Arizona.
I'm taking the Cardinals as well. That'll do it for the picks. Don't forget, YCN Sports Talk debuts every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Thanks for watching YCN Sports Talk.